Hi, and welcome back to our conversation with Roland COMTOIS. He is a speaker, an author, and also a medium. Now, a little bit about our guest today. Roland COMTOIS is an internationally acclaimed spiritual medium who has over 40 years of experience as an inspirational speaker, author, Reiki master, metaphysical teacher, grief specialist, and geriatric nurse. Roland's multifaceted approach to healing and crossing over, as well as the messages from his signature purple papers, leaves his audiences inspired. Well, welcome back, Roland, to part two.
Thank you so much.
This is so great. We had so much fun in part one,
We did. I loved
talking
it.
about your life as a medium. And now we're going to get into your book, Signs of Spirit.
Okay.
And this is all about your purple papers. So tell us, what are purple papers?
So purple papers that started maybe 15, 18, 20 years ago, probably that long now. And they are messages that I hear, that I record in writing, and messages from loved ones that have passed on. So they're stories about life someone lived. There's stories about how someone passed. There's stories of forgiveness, stories of love, stories of unity and harmony in each other. There's a million stories that have been told through these purple papers over the last 20 years.
All right, so I have so many questions. So why purple?
That is the most frequent asked question, is why purple? And the answer is not that dramatic. I heard and felt that I had to write on purple paper. I've since learned over the years that purple is a very highly vibrational color. It's a spiritual color, right? But I heard write on purple papers because there'll be too many messages in your head and you will not be able to contain it all. So the best way to handle that was to record them so that they would have a place, that they would have longevity, they would have life, and they would somehow find who they were looking for. So purple was just a color.
Yeah, and it is such a healing, spiritual color. And this is what your messages do, really, don't they? Bring about healing.
They do.
Yeah.
They bring healing. They bring release for some people. They bring freedom for others. I'll never forget a woman who got a purple paper, and it said, "I am free" at the bottom from her son. It was one of the most amazing moments I've ever witnessed with someone receiving a message. And so it gave her validation that she needed, and that she was ready to explore herself.
Right.
And so that's what they do. They tell different stories.
They tell the stories. So does this just, do they just come flooding through for you? I mean, what is it? How does it work for you? I mean, do you sit down every day and do this, or?
At this point, I sit almost every day.
Okay.
And I pray. And I do my prayers. And I say the prayers I've been saying for a long time. And I meditate and I get quiet. And I get in that space, that quiet, settled, still space that I refer to a lot. And I sit there and I say, once I feel that warmth in my heart, once I feel the settledness within my soul, once I feel the breath of spirit near me, I say, what message must I send? And then I wait. And then these pictures and these images and these stories filter through my mind and my heart. And they get so strong and so large that I have to record them. So I sit there the day that I hear the message, I write it down. That's whatever date's on the paper is the day I heard it.
The day you heard it.
The day I heard it from the person who passed and the story they want to tell. Now, it brings me joy when I'm there, though. So I'm in that sacred space, and all of a sudden I'm feeling happy, but I'm talking about loss. And I'm feeling joy, but I'm talking about loss, because I know that in the end, whoever this is meant for, any of these are meant for, they're going to be able to stretch through their grief for a second or two and be able to catch their breath. And that's where the joy comes in. You know, like I think that I'm really fortunate to have this experience in my life, to be part of the experience with people. So they tell amazing stories.
Does it feel like a mission to you?
It is a mission.
It is a mission
It is
for
a
you.
mission. It is a mission. It's not only a mission, Carla, it's a determination, really, I think on some level, that the spirit world summoned me, somebody summoned me, and said, would you mind doing us a favor?
Would you do this, yeah.
Would you do this for us? We need you. But look, they don't just say that to me, they say that to everybody. I just happen to be listening that day, right?
Right.
Do you mind doing this for us? Because there are a lot of people who are heartbroken and sad, and there are a lot of people that are afraid that there's nothing beyond here. Do you mind being the steward of these messages. They're not yours. It's not about you, they say, but you're simply going to write it and then deliver it.
And then deliver it to
Yeah,
people.
to people.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, you're being summoned from heaven, really. I
Yes.
mean, from beyond.
Yes.
You know, to do this. Is there one? Do you see one theme come through, like all the messages? And I've looked on your website, and I've got your book, and and I see all your purple papers here. So, but is there? Can you narrow it to like a 1, 2, 3 themes that seem to come through?
Well, I will say love is the first thing.
Okay.
Love is the first thing, and when that love message comes through, and it comes through a lot. It changes the person who's hearing it. It also, last night, people gasped when they heard the I love you to a daughter who was abandoned by her father. She gasped. The paper, she gasped when she had that moment, and the audience embraced her, which was remarkable. There are messages about forgiveness. There are messages about, wow, you know what? You did a really great job for me. And the person who hears that with their loved one's name on a paper is going to know, oh my God, I needed to hear that. I needed to feel that or experience that. But again, the common thread here, or the common denominator, is the experience of love. Because as I said before, I made an agreement a long time ago. It has to be about love.
Yes.
Even if it's suicide, even if it's tragedy, even if there's pain somewhere along the journey, this has to end in love. This is the only way that I agree to do this. And here we are, all these years later, and
that's what's happening.
And that's what's happening.
Right.
Now, audiences of people start to feel the love. Audiences of people start to feel the love. Hearts that were broken begin to merge into a place of healing. Souls that are searching for a loved one find someone tucked in a purple paper
I know.
that are written years ago,
Yeah.
some of them.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible when you think about it, and that reaching out. I mean, I guess no matter what, you're connecting to people that loved each other.
Yes.
Right? That two souls that loved each other.
Yes.
And you're bringing that message.
Yes. We're
from
connecting two souls back together to experience each other one more time. In this instance. So if it is about the girl who needed to hear I love you, it was a moment of having that she didn't have before.
Right.
If it's a husband saying to his wife, you did a really good job, my job is to be there. When I say my job, I don't mean mine as me. I mean all of us together, because it's really not about the medium at all. It's about all of us collectively helping each other.
I understand what
right?
you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Right? I do understand what you mean. You do think of yourself as a vessel. You do think of yourself like, oh, I do have this gift. I say yes. You don't have to say yes to heaven. You don't have to say, this is what I'm going to do. You can do anything. But you say, yes, I am going to do this. This does bring me joy, so I am going to do this.
The lady who works at a daycare center said yes, and she brings heaven that way, or love that way.
Exactly.
The one who works at McDonald's drive-thru brings love. The one who works at a department store.
Right.
If we stand in who we really are and be that vessel of love, and this happens to be my way of standing in that space, that's all. And these messages have proven time and time, because you see a lot here.
There's a lot, and I encourage people to get on your website and to get your book, because you see, and it's not just a message I love you or a message I'm sorry. Like, there's distinct things
there are.
So that somebody hearing it is going to think. And
Yes.
I've heard you say that it's a process. So if someone says, oh, I think that's me, you kind of know too. You get a feeling within, does this actually belong to this person?
I know this. I know that very clearly in me. And if someone came up to me and said, well, I don't get the second line, then I say it's not your paper.
It's not
because
yours.
Every single word has to resonate within you. And then I have to get that nice, warm, tingly feeling in here.
And then you know.
And then I know. Right. And I know without any doubt. I know without any hesitation. That little voice inside, that little feeling in here sparks in me and says, "Oh my God, Roland,
Yeah.
someone says you found the right person,"
Yeah.
and this beautiful celebration happens inside
That's
of me.
something. So you just, so you have all the confidence really in the world
I
that
do.
this is it. And they help you, right?
Oh,
Obviously the other side is helping you, like, okay, we want to make sure that, and the people the souls, the spirits that are giving the message are like, no, Roland, not her, actually.
Yeah, Carla, I need a lot of help. They help me. I mean, they totally help me. They guide me many, many times, and they say, "No, not her, not her, not her." Oh, that's the one. It's not. There's nothing exciting happening in me. It's really a collaboration between all of us, the audience, me, you, an individual, everything, the spirit world, all communicating at once.
Yeah. Now I have to tell you, so. I was preparing myself for this interview, and I was on your website, I believe, because you list papers that have been found, right? And then I believe you also have papers that are still waiting for the person to come and claim them. So I was looking through those, and you had one, and I have to ask this: is the date that you received the message random? It's not necessarily around the date that somebody died, or it's around the message you may be delivering it years down the road. The person may have died years before.
Yeah.
Would that be a true statement?
There is. I think it's random, but there are more times than not that the date has some meaning to the person.
Actually has
so
meaning.
It does. Not always.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an always statement, but it does happen. I mean, I remember one guy once getting a purple paper and looked at the day and said, "Oh my God, that's my wife. That's our anniversary."
Can imagine, yeah.
So it was more validation.
More validation.
But the message is really what's most important on the paper. The date is when I sat in my space, heard the message, sat in front of a blank purple paper, and then decided to transcribe this loving energy that I felt onto a paper.
Yeah.
And so sometimes it means something, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah.
All right, so anyways, I got on your website, and I have to tell you that I'm reading, I'm like, that's interesting, because, and I couldn't even read it clearly, the whole message, but it was dated 11/18/17, and it says, Edith says, "I found your father." Now, Edith was my grandmother's name, right? And everybody called her Anna, 'cause she didn't like Edith. But Edith, it caught my eye because it's not a common name. And I found your father because my father, her son, passed before her. Okay, passed before her. And so I'm looking at that, and I'm like, I found your father. And I don't lay claim to this.
Right.
I don't know. Right. But I was just like, I'm wondering, is it for me? Is it... And I'm open to this.
Yes.
There may be another person out there that needs to hear this. So I'm not about to take something that doesn't actually belong to me. Right. But it was just such a curious, and I don't know what the rest of the paper said, so I don't know.
Yeah. So first, it would be an injustice if I gave it to you just for the fun of it.
Right. Of course.
And I wouldn't
want it.
And
obviously.
I wouldn't do it for anybody who was in front of me. I wouldn't do that.
I love that.
But I'm fascinated by the idea that I'm here today. And 24 hours ago, this paper and all of these were pulled out of these stacks of paper.
So you have these stacks labeled how?
They're labeled from 2008 to 2020. So there are some that go back to 2008 that haven't been discovered in alphabetical order.
So these are just waiting.
All of these are waiting,
these
right?
Are waiting
these
for
are
people.
waiting. These are waiting. They have
messages.
first and last names. There's one from the Sloan family. There's one from the Tebow family. There's one. There's lots of them. And I can't remember them all right now. But
right.
And then they're all in here, and most of them are posted out there somewhere, right? And so before I do an event, right, I go into my place, I put a blank pad in front of me, and I thank God for my blessings, and I sit there in a state of absolute reverence for the opportunity, and then I hear, and I say, what message must I send? And I feel it. I feel it come to life. And then the message finds its way to the paper, right? And then I review all of these before I go on in front of a group or I meet a person. And I pull out the ones that have a lot of energy that I'm going to meet along the way.
And this was from last night.
This was from yesterday.
Okay.
Actually, this is from several days. I've been holding on to these.
Really?
And oddly enough, Edith's paper is in the one that I pulled out.
Okay, so this is the one, 11/18/2017.
Carla, I am convinced beyond a shadow of a doubt, everything inside of my heart and soul tells me that this is your grandmother.
Really?
Everything inside of me tells me it's your grandmother talking about your father. And the fact that I pulled it out yesterday, to me, solidifies, at least for me, that she's trying to say something to you that's really important.
Oh.
Now, here's the other thing. Can I just keep going for a second?
Please.
You and I have never met each other.
No.
You didn't know me on November 18th,
No.
2017.
No. And you didn't know that I got on.
No,
and
how would I
found
know?
this.
No, I
Yeah,
wouldn't know.
You don't know
But
this.
the thing is, this was written before our paths crossed. You and I have never met each other,
No,
have we?
no.
One other time somewhere.
But Spirit knows.
But that's what I'm trying to get to. Your grandmother knows. Your father knows. They knew somehow that our paths would cross because of that lack of separation that exists between all of us. So here I am, November 18th, 2017, getting ready to do an event. And I'm sitting in a room, and I hear the voice of a woman named Edith. And her voice is, now I'm remembering, you don't know this, but when I look at a paper, it's like I'm going into a file cabinet in the back of my being, and I pull out the essence of that story. And she came through to me in this moment with a lot of joy to talk about your father and a lot of peace about your father. And she says here, I needed to see him in the purple paper. She needed to have the connection with him again. And she goes on to say that everybody has been tired. She says, everybody was tired. Maybe your father, maybe she, maybe everybody.
Okay.
And she goes on to tell the story of the relationship and the connection that the two of them had. Now, listen, let me say something to you.
Yes. Because I couldn't fully read it on your website, you know what I mean? It was like blurry to me, so I just saw Edith.
So it
found your
says
father.
that he was tired. Whatever he was
Yes.
going through, he was tired
He was
because it
tired.
says he had been so tired throughout the last couple of years, right?
Yeah.
And then she says, I was happy to see him walking towards me as if he was coming to greet her. Can you believe this is happening to you?
No, I can't.
He
Even-
reached out to me. And then she talks about being ill and not being right and not being settled with whatever she was dealing with, whatever that was, right? She talks about something taking over her body, and then she goes on to say, I'm really happy, and this is why, because your father looks wonderful. I am convinced,
Oh my gosh.
with everything inside of me, that paper was written for you on November 18th, 2017. Now, if
Oh my
people,
gosh,
if you
this is
judge
overwhelming.
this, right, if you want to see how real it really is, this is already posted out there long before you and I have ever met. So I don't write messages in front of people. I don't take registrations myself, except for 3 cities in the entire country.
Right.
So I don't even know who's going to be in the room.
No.
But what I do know, and I know with every part of my heart, that your grandmother's telling you, because this belongs to you, that she...
I can't believe this.
That
I just
she
want to cry.
That she found her boy, right?
Yeah, she
your father, and that between them, this paper is written for you. Look, why is it out of the stack?
I don't know.
I'm telling you why. I'm telling you why. Because your grandmother and all these other people. So look, there's Anthony and Sandy
Oh my goodness.
and Nancy, and they go back, and Ellen from 2018, and Gail and Gus, and it goes back. And why is she in this pile? Because she summoned you to this moment, so that she could bring you an embrace.
I don't even know what to say. I'm looking at this, and so I'll share with the viewers the date, November 18th, 2017. Okay, I'll have to go back and look.
Yeah.
But 2017, between August and December, was such a hard time in our family.
Oh my God.
Such a hard time in our family. I'm not kidding. Everything ended up being okay, but my husband became very ill.
Oh my gosh.
We actually had a fire on Christmas Day, 12/25/2017. So I think when I look at that, And I remember that was a very hard
Wow.
4 months. 2017 was a year I was glad to see go by. And so to think that it came to you in November 2017, kind of, it's a message to me in a way.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
a message to me in a way. What I found the curious piece of me, right? Separating now from the emotion of this, but I found your father. I find this so fascinating because, so he wasn't waiting for her. Do you know what I mean? Like you always think everybody you know that you loved and died will be waiting for you when you cross into the light. Is it different sometimes?
No, she's presenting to you the story that he was there.
He was there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That not
I'm
like
so literal.
not yes just step the that he wasn't out there somewhere. That he was there. He was part of that moment for her. And her telling you she found him is supposed to bring something to you, whatever that something is. You know, maybe happiness for her or for him or something like that. Everything about the paper tells me it's your grandmother. There's not a hesitation in me at all, and if there was, I would honor the hesitation, and you would want me to anyways.
I would want you to, and
but
I would
I'm not
accept
in that space. Let me say something else to you.
Yes.
Recently, at an event in Rhode Island, there were 130 people in the room, and a woman came up and said, "Can I see the Edith paper that you posted?" I said, "Sure." She looked at it, and she had a reaction to it, and I said, "It's not yours. I'm sorry. It's not. It's not your grandmother, but I know soon I will find the right person. But for now," I said to her, "take my love as a gift."
Yeah.
And all I could do was hold the woman and embrace her. I know it's your message. Nothing is hesitant in me at all. But that's how the purple papers work. That's how it works.
Wild. It really is.
Last night in the audience, there were 10 people received purple papers, besides all the people that received verbal messages from me. 10 papers were delivered to people in that room that were mystified, that were blown away by the idea that their loved ones would plant a seed for them to hear. This is what this is for you.
This is, I can't even explain the feeling I'm feeling, and
you look like other people who receive purple papers.
Okay. This is what you look like when you get your purple paper.
This is what you look like, yeah. This is what you look like.
I'm a little speechless and overwhelmed. I do have to share with you that when we started the interview, and I knew I was going to be asking this question,
Yep.
I started feeling pressure in my chest. And when I feel pressure in my chest, that's when I know, and I still feel it now, that's when I know Spirit is here.
Wow.
I used to do healing work, and that's how I knew the angels are gathering, the spirits are coming in, is because I just feel tremendous pressure. I know, like, the room starts filling with that energy, and I was feeling it, and I'm trying to be neutral. And patient to get to the question.
Yeah.
So if you're sure, then
there's no hesitation on my behalf.
This is going up in my office.
There's no hesitation. There's nothing in me that holds me back from this paper at all. And as I said already, there would be an injustice if I gave a message out verbally for the fun of it, because I don't guess. You know what I mean? But I don't guess.
You're authentic.
I never say in a room, it sounds like a B or sounds like a D. I never do that. I say, your dad's here. He's got something to say.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Now you might say to me, well, do you have anything to say from my father? And the answer would be no to the question, because this is what I feel.
This is what you feel.
Your grandmother is talking about finding your dad, and there's supposed to be a moment of absolute relief in there. Maybe you don't need it. Maybe you're okay with them, but the fact is that she found him, and that he found her, and that in them is an amazing spark of peace. Now, the other thing you mentioned earlier was these are a little nod from the spirit world, a little wink, like you said earlier.
Yes.
Because sometimes you read a paper and you say to myself, oh my God, that's my message, or I know what that means, right? But I feel that it belongs to the person on the left of you or the right of you.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that you can't take from the story
The
essence of the message.
Right.
Because that's important.
That's important to do too.
It's very important.
If you feel like it's for you.
It's, to me, that's no different than when someone thinks when a robin flies into their yard that it's a sign from a grandmother. Well, it could be a sign from somebody else's father or somebody else's uncle. But in the end, that moment still, take the essence of what that represents for you. This represents the continuity of love between those two people and an offering to you because they love you.
Yeah.
Because they love you very much.
So good.
Because they love you very much.
Thank you. We're right at the end. But how do people claim their purple papers? How do they?
So if you see a purple paper on my website or somewhere, social media, you can send us an email. And if there is a purple paper that I feel that's meant to be yours, we're going to give you a free session. We're going to talk for nothing. I don't need to be paid for that. I'm on a mission, a determination to say to the people I meet that love is everlasting, that there's a continuity of the love. There's an energy about that love that binds us and brings us closer together. So if you see one somewhere, send us a note.
Send you a note.
Send us a note through my website, and if it is meant to be yours, I will talk to you for free, and we will send it to you via the mail, wrapped up beautifully, as if it's some sacred gift that you'll receive.
Oh, this is wonderful.
Thanks.
This is wonderful, and I think, just thank you for just doing this for people. I know you've helped so many people. I know all these people are waiting, and eventually they're going to get their purple papers.
They will.
And so thank you.
Thank you. I am honored to be with you.
And thank you for my gift. I'm overwhelmed.
You are receiving a gift of a purple.
I'm totally overwhelmed with
I now
this.
can say you are a purple paper person.
Yes, I am a purple paper person. And I would encourage everyone, please go on Roland's website, check out his book, get on Facebook, and see if there's some purple paper that might mean something to you as well. So we're going to have all of his contact information up on the screen in just a second. Feel free to watch this program again. Just check with your local listing. Also, you can get on my website at carlaaugustyn.com, where I have all the shows, or go directly to youtube.com. Type my name into the search, and all the past episodes will come up. I want to thank you so much for watching. This has been Spiritual Invitation. I'm your host, Carla Augustyn, inviting you to explore. I'm stumbling. Okay. Spirituality, and I'm stumbling. Thank you. I'm really overwhelmed.
It's all good. It's so good. It was written for you.